Because in America, we always shower in the morning, which spend the whole day sweaty and gross and doing everything. Just go to bed. We don't shower. But in China, everybody showers in the evening before you go to bed. That seems like a much better idea.
Chinese pragmatism, kind of, we're gonna do what works. In England, sometimes there's a bit of like idealism. They try and do things that are never gonna work and they pretend they're gonna work. Chengdu had 2 subway lines when I came, and then we got like, what, 12, 10, 12? Compared to England, when I was 5, we were talking about the second high-speed rail in England. I am 30, they're still talking about it.
Safety. Where I grew up, it was, I'm from the United States, Washington, D.C. Yeah, one area is safe, so luckily that's where I lived at. Where most of my friends lived at was dangerous. Here in China, I see most of the cities is it's safe compared to where I'm from.
10,000 cameras. You know, all this camera makes us safe. In Italy these days, it's not safe. A woman cannot walk on the street, cannot leave your phone on the table. Or me, I leave my phone on the table, leave my wallet on the table, nobody will touch you. Because they know, camera will catch them. There's so many cameras around looking at you and you don't do anything wrong, what's the problem? So the only things you have to worry about if you do something wrong. Be honest, be real, be nice, and then you don't have to worry.
The Chinese people, the pride of the nation. Because think about it, every time you meet a Chinese person, they'll be like, where are you from? Is China good? Yeah. You like it?
Welcome to China.
So the pride of the country, that's one thing I'll always take back, and always just being willing to help the next person.
Honest, the people are. There have been times when I've been in China, I go into a shop, the shopkeeper was like, he had his apartment attached to the shop in his living room watching TV, and I was walking around in the shop for like 10 minutes. I actually had to call him when I was like, okay, I want to buy something, can you please get out of here? You don't have that feeling in America. Like everyone's very like, watch your wallets, don't go out at a certain time of night. It is weird because you look at a lot of movies and everyone's like, you know, USA, 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 but it's, in some ways I still feel like in China, people are more like, not just China, but it's also everyone's together. This sort of the general honesty of the people here is really impressive. It's really quite amazing.
That will be WeChat for me.
Meituan.
Oh, I will correct myself. Pinduoduo.
Yeah!
Pinduoduo.
Pinduoduo, for sure.
It's cheap.
What's bad about Pinduoduo?
Yeah.
Pinduoduo's beautiful.
Tell me one thing is bad and I'll tell you one good.
Yeah, Pinduoduo, for sure.
I will take back the nice streets that you have. I feel your people is really disciplined. That's great. Take the people.
Take the people?
Yes.
Why?
They're good people.
The food is very nice.
So you're gonna take the food back?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, maybe.
Maybe Mao Tai.
Mao Tai.
I just want to try it, but I think they don't have here. Right?
I would say the chargers, because my phone tends to die quite a lot. If my phone dies, I cannot do anything. You can just rent a charger anywhere on the streets, and then you just return it back, you use it, you return it, no problem, but I've never seen that anywhere else but China. So chargers, so you can use your phone and then you can use all the technology that's actually available to you.
I take Alipay or WeChat because I went back home last year and then it's cash or card. I just like doing that. There you go. But I still keep 100块 in the wallet just in case.
这100块放多久了?
This is older than you.
That's really hard questions because I cannot imagine like myself going back to Mexico. I really do not want to go back, and because I really like Chengdu. But if I ever go back, it's so hard. I don't even want to think about it. That makes me sad thinking about leaving Chengdu. Maybe I could just like pack all the food from Chengdu or Sichuan and just like take it back home, but it's impossible. That's why I'm not leaving.
Freedom. Honestly, freedom. I feel very free here. I feel very lucky at my job here. I feel liberated. People who've never been to China, they'll go, oh, there's no freedom there. I've been here for 14 years. Right? This is my country now.
What I'm probably going to go with is Mahjong. So nobody in the States has ever tried it. Like, there's so many people in the States who have just, because we don't have it. We have nothing even close to it. So it's like, I want someone to drink something that is a legitimately strong liquor and be like, oh, we can't talk shit about how they drink anymore. Like, you're just not allowed to.
白酒，哎，
你吃火锅的时候，你没有怀旧，你跟朋友人一起，是不是觉得还是少了一个东西？不管你开心还是难过，你心情会第二天就好了。
因为第二天就难受了。
不难受，不难受。你要控制一下，你不要管那么多嘛。
I take back a giant panda. I'm going tomorrow to.
Of course, it will be panda.
Pandas. When I saw a panda park.
Maybe some toys like panda teddy.
We usually or often get asked, is it capable of being innovative? Actually, you know, I never ever get this question asked anymore. In a very short space of time, China has created Tencent, Alibaba, and so on. But actually, my favorite one is this one. 2013, China had only 2 companies in the top 20 internet companies. And by, I think it was one of these figures, I think it's May, at the end of May this year, the United States had 11 and China had 9. So there's no question at all that the Chinese economy is capable of great innovation, and I think we'll see this more and more as a feature of China's economy.
I rode on the Lao China Railway. It's very good, very fast. Yeah, I took it from Van Vieng to here and Luo Prabang to Vientiane, so I've been it on 2 occasions and it was very good. If it's a Chinese train, I really very much enjoy. I used to live in Shanghai for 2 years. The trains there are absolutely amazing, very, very fast, very efficient, always on time. And the Lao China Railway is exactly the same, very comfortable, very fast, very cheap. I wish in the UK we could make trains as efficient as the Chinese would do. We're trying to make a high-speed railway link in the UK and it's an absolute disaster, whereas the Chinese seem to do it like that. So you're very, very efficient, I would say, definitely.
From the USA, from Portland, Oregon. I was honestly kind of scared about China before I came to China. So many different cities here are so developed. There's so much amazing technology happening. Like being in Shenzhen, it's such a technologically developed city. And I had no idea that it existed before. And being in China and living in Shenzhen and seeing that, wow, it's so hard to describe to my fellow Americans back home. They're like, what is China like? I'm like, well, Shenzhen is amazing. And it's so hard for my fellow compatriots back home to understand that.
Many people often talk about the high-speed rail. Now, they have currently almost 40,000 kilometres of high-speed rail. It's more high-speed rail than all of the other countries in the world put together. And over the next 10 years, they plan to build another 35 to 40,000 kilometres of high-speed rail. Now, many in the West have said this is just a waste of money, but I think that the key takeaway here is that the Chinese government plan for the future. So we have the Hong Kong, Macau, Zhuhai bridge, which is just an engineering marvel. We can get to and from smaller areas in China. You know, business people can travel between the major cities very efficiently. So, you know, this is something that is absolutely amazing here in China.
I describe China as my second country. Actually, every time when I come here, I'm very happy. I feel very comfortable living in China. People are very hospitable, helpful, and I feel this is my second home. There are many apps in China, but my favorite one and the one that I use the most is WeChat, beside the Taobao and Alipay.
Before I came to China, I was certain about 3 things. Number 1, Chinese people like dumplings. Number 2, Chinese people like tea. And number 3, all Chinese people know Kung Fu. And after living here for so long and going to so many different places and having so many interactions, I found that China is a very rich in culture and dynamic country. Whenever I post on Facebook or Instagram, I always will have many people being like, oh man, that's China? I had no idea. I had no idea that it was so beautiful there. I've had a lot of people also reach out to me and be like, hey, so what's going on with the policies there? What's the business climate like? And so on. So yeah, I think a lot of foreigners, China and to Hainan Island.
Frequently get asked in the West is, China's good at copying, but can it innovate? I won't say I wasn't confident before, but I'm more confident now than I was several years ago about China's successful ability to do that. In an extraordinarily short space of time, the Chinese economy has become a very innovative economy. I mean, the classic example of it, of course, are the high-tech industries, you know, the Baidus, the Huawei, Alibaba, Tencent, and so on. They are the only serious, you know, act in town in the world aside from what's happening in Silicon Valley. And it's all been achieved in a very, very short space.
I'm going to do something, I want to do it in China because there's a real opportunity. These are people who came from all over the world
and to contribute there. But now they're less welcome. People are saying, well, there are new areas of opportunity, China being one. Explosive growth compared to everywhere else. Huge market. And the U.S. and Europe, U.S. in more particular, has been very good at the science. But take a look at the names on the articles that are being published. They continue to be Wong and Patel. China, on the other hand, has been terrific at applying science, technology, using the science to create products that people would buy.
In Western religion, it's all about opposites, polarities, exclusion, expulsion, and conflicting ideologies. In Western thinking, there's only black versus white. Asian philosophies seek harmony and balance, equanimity, and collective consciousness.
Look at these kids. It is around midnight. These kids are outside. Like, I'm gonna take a picture, send it to my mom, because what kind of life I had that I had to be in bed at 8 p.m. These flowers, no one is working. Can you see that? No one is working. So this says you scan by yourself and you can just take the flowers that you like. Where in the world? It is midnight. Not 6 p.m., not 7 p.m. It is midnight.
China had a fantastic achievement. It was one of the first countries to reduce poverty, extreme poverty by half by 2050. But many countries can learn from China's excellent example. China reduced extreme poverty by economic growth, but economic growth alone will not do it. And China did this by bringing in education and healthcare and social security and a whole range of other good social policies that meant everyone benefited from that economic growth.
Well, China is growing. It's the largest economy in the world today. So in terms of the future, I feel that China will continue developing. And with the world overall, we'll need to find ways to learn from China and to get inspired by this example of how this country of 1.4 billion people has advanced so fast in the last 50, 60 years in a way that no other society at that scale achieved in the world. And therefore, all the other countries will realize that the best way to move forward is again to cooperate with China, to learn from China, to teach some lessons to China as well. Yet, it's all about communication. It's all about engaging.
You should definitely come to China. It's a wonderful country, lots of history, lots of interesting culture, and it's a place of lots of change. So that's fascinating to see.
Being here for like over a year now, I'm actually happy that I came and experienced something that's so different, because once you actually understand or like kind of get inside that culture, I think that you don't see it as like something super, super different, but rather like, I mean, yeah, it's different, but you don't see it as weird anymore.